power glove. It's so bad.
Say what?
Oh, yeah!
Say what?
Can I do that?
Good evening. It is Tuesday and not Friday. I had to plan for that. Ryan, are you with us, man?
I am here.
He is here. I am Dale, and it is, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say it's October 3rd up front. That's something we don't do.
It's Halloween the 3rd. What are you
It
talking about?
is. It is the 3rd of Halloween, indeed. We are clearly excited for Halloween. Look at the show title. I actually couldn't think of anything better than that. I thought, let's do a retro
sums it
Halloween. Yeah, right? Okay.
Perfectly.
Yeah. So we've got actually a month of Halloween shows to do, which is may run a little after. We'll see how the dates fall, but we've got a lot of plans for this month, and we're going to try to get everything in, and it should be fun.
None of it is candy corn filler.
Not a bit. It is all quality content. It is all what, Snickers. Not even the bite size. This is the real deal. Yeah.
Got a couple Ferrero Rochers hanging out.
God. It's that
So
time
good.
of year. Yeah. Those go over well for Christmas. I still see them around Christmas. They're that kind of good. You know, you get like a Hershey's bar for Christmas. You're like, I could have bought that, but you get those. You're like, ooh, Ferrero Rocher. Somebody cares. It's one of those scenarios. All right. Well, tonight we're just talking just genuine Halloween things. First, I suppose we'll do our news, and then we'll take a break. And what are we going to talk about, Ryan? I know we're going to give like a little tiny bit of the origins of Halloween. And what else? What else are we going to talk about for Halloween?
I think we should talk about some Halloween memories from our childhood.
I
Take
think-
them real far back retro.
Yeah. See,
And
now I
if
was
we
going to
got
call it
time,
a retro Halloween, but I thought it's not Halloween, so that might sound weird.
It is Halloween all month long.
It is Halloween the 3rd. All right, so yeah, let's do that. The show's probably going to run a little shorter tonight. Not because we weren't prepared or don't love you enough, but, you know, it's just one of those nights, the kids and you know, the allergies and things. So we're going to probably run maybe 30-ish minutes earlier than usual, and I don't think most people mind that. They want to get in bed. It's that kind of month. Get in bed and get prepared for the next day of Halloween. All right, so Ryan, do you have any news for us this evening?
I do not have much, and
Okay, that's fine. I have a few.
lost my browser.
Well, that's quite all right.
You want to
Sure.
go ahead?
Yeah. A lot of mine are small things, and they probably fit I'll podcast on your grave a little better, but come on, it's that time of year where everything is Halloween, you know? School is Halloween, and work is Halloween, everything. All right, so...
Yeah, this is the 1 month where I think Retro After Dark and I'll podcast on your grave just kind of merge into one.
Agreed. Yeah, and
for
on
every show.
and even Friday's show is going to it's going to be a Halloween kind of month for it, but we'll talk a little bit about that maybe after the
Are
break.
mummies real?
What's that?
Are mummies real?
Hey,
Find out this Friday.
that's right. Yeah, we're tonight's going to be like a kind of an intro to the month, and then Friday we'll probably really kick it off. Every show after that for the whole month will be fun, and we'll talk about some random shows we're going to do. Ryan, don't let me forget. I don't know if I mentioned it last episode, but let's talk about the random shows we're going to be doing over the course of the month, and maybe beyond, just depending on how it goes. So let's not forget
Yeah,
that. 'Cause
Like the
it's-
end of the world, we're not quite sure what days they'll fall.
That's
yet.
true. It's
Yeah.
it's that sort of thing. Well, technically, if you do the math, or maybe a week later, I was off. All right, so yeah, let me go ahead and toss out a news story. There is a version of Cult of Chucky on Netflix. Not sure if you're aware of that. It's new, that Cult of Chucky film. What's not cool though is it's not the unrated version. Haven't we come to always want the unrated version?
Yeah.
I got to take a drink. I think I swallowed a gnat whenever I inhaled real big for that. So
It's not a good
yeah.
Halloween treat.
no, that is not that. I'd rather have the candy corn filler, honestly. All right. Yeah, that's better. That is not a way to start your news story. So yeah, With anything these days, any Blu-ray anyway, it comes out, you get, the digital, the DVD, the Blu-ray, and usually there's like an unrated director's, producer's cut or whatever. Mm-hmm. Well, if you want the unrated, you have to buy the Blu-ray because it's just not the one on Netflix. And that's unfortunate, but at least it is out there. In the past, there were a lot of films where you just didn't get missing cuts, and then.
So, is it anything that's like too hot for Netflix?
I don't think so, but then again, I guess I couldn't say. I haven't seen it yet. I'm waiting for the unrated version, and then I'll probably watch the rated version. So that's kind of how I like it.
Maybe I can bite the bullet and take that one for us. I'll watch the Netflix family-friendly version. I don't know if that's the right term for it, but
yeah, you never know what's even cut. You never know. It may be like 2 more seconds of blood or 8 more seconds of people talking. It could be awesome or it could be nothing, but this actually doesn't really say. It's about a minute shorter, the Netflix cut. So I don't expect it'll be that big of a difference, honestly.
So wait, the cut version is a minute shorter?
Yes.
Only minute? Oh, okay.
1 minute. Now
there's a seriously intense minute in there.
That sounds frivolous, but then in the horror world, that is anything but frivolous. That is a big minute. That is a very important minute. Whether the movie sucks or doesn't, that minute matters to somebody. A lot of somebody's. I remember back in Friday the 13th, Final Friday, Jason Goes to Hell. It was that sort of thing. I remember seeing work prints and things around of it. Rob Zombie's New Halloween, the original remake, reboot, whatever. There was a work print of that, except that one was a very different movie. And I can get behind that, when the scenes matter. But when you're flipping through extras, you're like, man, this is the action-packed 3 hours of extras. And you're sitting there and you're just like, I don't care about these. These are boring. No wonder they cut it. Isn't that common, though?
It is.
I'll watch a gag reel, and that's about it.
The only thing, the only opposite I can think of that was, now I didn't actually see this in the theaters, but they say the Batman versus Superman, like the home edition,
yeah,
like where it's uncut and all that, was a lot better.
Oh, okay.
The theatrical release, and that's the version that I saw. So, and to me, honestly, it wasn't as bad as people were saying it was. So maybe that's why. But supposedly they cut out like a lot of stuff that was really questionable. Like, why did you, like, for length? Like, it was just kind of confusing, the things that they cut out. What I hear.
It's funny because most people seem to go for more length.
Yeah.
I need to keep that. I don't know why that's drum sound around. Yeah.
With theatrical releases.
I'm going to make sort of an innuendo here and say, let's focus more on girth than length, because I think that really is the truth. That's what's important, right? That you flesh out and you have a better story than a longer one. I don't think that extra minute could matter. I've not heard great about Cult of Chucky, but, to me and my daughter, that probably doesn't matter. You're not going to care. As long as it's enjoyable, you're not going to be like, oh, in the history of Chucky, this is not holding up. It's like, if it's a decent movie.
Chucky. Come on, it's Chucky.
It's freaking Chucky. I mean, take the premise. Is it unbelievable? Yes. So what are the odds that it matters that much?
What do you want it to be?
Yeah. I really liked the last Chucky movie that came out a couple years ago. I think the only one I've really not liked much at all was Seed of Chucky, and I can even tolerate it, but it's just that one's really out there.
Either.
Yeah. That one weirds me out a bit, but I think it's supposed to. Well, if you found your news, you go right ahead. That's it for Chucky. It's missing a minute on Netflix, so buy it if you care.
Okay, so this is for our local listeners. I'm not sure who else out there is listening beyond our local area, but at the Blade Runner 2049 comes out this Friday. So to celebrate that, the theater at the Pinnacle, I think it's just called the Pinnacle Cinema. Sorry if I got that wrong, but they are showing a double feature this Thursday night. So if you've not seen the original Blade Runner in a while, this is your chance to watch it in theaters again.
Or at all. Let's not assume.
Yeah. So
I've actually heard really good about it. People are they've got good things to say. So
yeah, I heard the pre-screenings went really well, and everybody said it was really good. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
So this Thursday, regular admission price for to see 2049.
So decide if you want to pay your mortgage or go to the movies. In other words,
yeah. So go show up to see the movie. You can watch both Blade Runner films, and I think it starts so that as soon as the first movie wraps up, it's technically 12:01.
That's awesome.
2049 will begin. So it's the final cut version. I think is the one that they're showing. So
that sounds like the one to see.
Means, well, when it comes to Blade Runner, I think there are like seven versions of it. I think
it's one of those like Close Encounters where it'll have a set that takes multiple discs just for the cuts of the movie, and you're like, I don't know which one to watch. I had to Google that, and I never got a definitive answer on Close Encounters. So
I don't think I've seen every version of Blade Runner, to be honest.
Right.
And the version kind of I think the major difference in them is the ending. And Blade Runner is a film where the ending is kind of well, in most of the versions it's left to your interpretation on whether this is like a happy ending or if they're all doomed or or what. So this is a final cut, and I believe this is one of the versions where it's kind of left up to your interpretation. In
Fair
other
enough.
words, and sorry if this is kind of a spoiler, I'll be vague about it, but this is I believe it's the one where Decker finds the unicorn laying on the ground, and then he gets in the elevator with Rachel, and it closes, and that's the credits.
Right on.
So if that tells you anything, that's the version that you're going to be seeing.
Sweet.
So,
Sounds
I don't
fun.
think that if you haven't seen it before, I don't think that spoils anything. So
yeah, because you don't know who they are and you don't know what's going on. You need to know the scenario before any of that would be too relevant, I think.
Yeah, but yeah, it should be a good time. That's this coming Thursday. So what day is it? Tuesday?
It is Tuesday. Yes, we haven't done the Tuesday shows in a few weeks, so forgive us.
So we could probably do an entire episode of Rad on Blade Runner itself.
It's true.
There's so much deeper meaning to everything.
And then the next episode could be Total Recall.
Yeah,
that's one where it's just like what's real and what isn't, and it makes you ponder the universe and life and sci-fi. Man, now I wasn't into sci-fi as a kid. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I think I really hope that Blade Runner kind of causes this sort of resurgence in cerebral sort of sci-fi like that. I think a lot of sci-fi that comes out these days is just kind of bleak and dark and hopeless.
Do you consider Resident Evil and things like that sci-fi, or do you consider that just more horror?
I don't think Resident Evil's supposed to be, but they've certainly taken it in that direction.
I kind of feel that way about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gotten kind of out there, and I stopped caring.
Yeah, me too. A long time ago. And about the games too. Like, they play well, but I don't know. I was looking more for the killing dead stuff that's trying to kill you angle, as opposed to, the science and the will to stay alive as a. I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you.
It's gotten more action movie than horror survival.
I think so. That's it. It's a good way to put it.
So,
yeah.
But what were we talking about? Blade Runner?
Blade Runner, yeah, and Total Recall, and you're hoping for this the ripple effect of more sci-fi.
So yeah, you can look at Blade Runner, and the atmosphere of the movie's very dark and bleak and everything. But I think Blade Runner asks you to kind of look inside, and it gets the viewer to ask certain questions. What is life? he's chasing down these artificial beings. But by the end of the film, he goes through this transformation to where he's kind of questioning, does that even matter? Like, what is life? Like, does that mean because you're human, does that make you alive? Or is it because of your experiences and how you relate to them and everything?
It's a deep question.
So I want sci-fi to do that. I want it to make you reflect and ask those questions again. And from what it sounds like of Blade Runner 2049, it sounds like it's getting back to that.
Good.
So hopefully the world will see, wow, this is amazing, and other franchises will follow suit.
There are a lot of questions to ponder about life. We've got a show that we do every Friday that proves that. So it's nice when a movie can make you think and entertain you at the same time. Good stuff.
Are you living the same life you started this morning? Have you jumped reality again?
It's tough to say.
Those are the kind of wormholes we go through on Fridays.
It's true. Come go through those with us, won't you? All right, so there's a lot of cool things going on this month, obviously. If you're into Halloween, well, this is your month. It's our month. Let us do lots of cool stuff together. One of the cool things that you can do is if you're stuck home and have nothing better to do, Sci-Fi has started their 31 Days of Halloween.
All right.
Yeah. I'm going to take another drink. That gnat got my throat dry.
Tasty. That was a gnat with almonds.
It was. Not an almond joy. I don't like almonds, so. The biggest bummer of this year's Halloween programming is that AMC is not doing it's doing Fear Fest for 1 week. I'm sorry. It's going to kick off the 23rd, which is awesome. The Walking Dead returns. Stranger Things returns. There's some great movies, or at least interesting looking movies coming out.
I think maybe that's why they're only doing it for 1 week. Because I think they realize, like, okay, we got Walking Dead coming out, and
yeah,
Stranger Things is coming out. People are going to binge the hell out of that, that week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, why bother with the other programming?
They usually play the Halloween series about 12 times in a row over the course of the month, which I'm a fan of. I'll watch my Blu-ray set and then I'll watch it on TV all month as well, but I get it. As long as they kind of play horror movies here and there. I don't need a solid month, I don't suppose. I'm not awake all month. I try not to be, at least. So, but what is cool is they're playing Twilight Zone and lots of, well, they're not all good movies, but that's the genre we're in. There a lot of them are cheesy, a lot of them are sci-fi originals, which are not known to be fantastic.
They are to my son.
Well, yes, they are to him, and so it is to somebody out there.
Sharknado and Sharktopus and all that are like the greatest things ever created.
But they're playing like
I saw Sharktopus. I saw Sharktopus, and I was like, okay, this is actually pretty cool. Like this, this is if you gave me, like, if I was 9 years old and you gave me like a movie budget and a film crew and everything. And like let me go to town.
That's what they feel like.
The Sharktopus is something you would have drawn like in the margins of your notebook paper when you're bored.
It's true. It's true. You can see lots of those all month. So tune in to Sci-Fi. They'll be playing the Freddy Krueger series, Nightmare on Elm Street, and like I said, Twilight Zone, Joyride, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D, which is not necessarily anyone's favorite. I really liked it. Cabin Fever, the remake of Carrie, Jennifer's Body, Drag Me to Hell, The Faculty, and of course Z Nation will be on there, which is their zombie show. So Trick or Treat
Fever, man,
is a favorite of mine. What's that?
I said Cabin Fever was just like, what do you say about that one?
What do you say about that?
The twist. Like, that movie ended up being not at all what I was thinking it was going to be by the end of it.
I concur. I really liked it. It gets its fair share of naysayers, but I really liked it. I thought it was unique for the time, and it was gross, and it was fun.
It was fun. Like, that movie could have just stayed like this teen slasher in a cabin in the woods. which sounds like that's what it's going to be from the title.
Yes.
I mean, come on, it very well could have stayed that. But
Anything
that's all I'm gonna
cabin.
say.
Because of Evil Dead and Friday the 13th, anything cabin, you just think slasher.
Yeah, and that's totally what it starts out as. But I'm not going to say anything else in case anybody out there hasn't seen it. But you should watch it. It's a good time, and it's not what you're thinking it's going to be.
It's not.
It certainly starts out that way, but it gets fun.
Yeah, I think so. I really like it. So yeah, see that. It is going to be on this month, and I'm sure it'll be on repeat a few times. You can't miss it if you want to see it. There is a game that is headed to the Xbox and PlayStation 4 that I don't think a lot of people have heard of, but it's called Slayaway Camp: Butcher's Cut. And it's going to come just in time for Halloween, apparently. I figured what better show to mention a horror game.
So what I'm picturing is this kind of like in the vein of the Friday the 13th game?
Not exactly, actually. It's there's a trailer here for it. I don't know if you can no, I'm not gonna. I was gonna play the sound, but it basically looks like some crazy reality Minecraft hybrid funny kind of thing. As weird as all that sounds together. Slayaway Camp: Butcher's Cut. Look that up. I think you'll be like, what? But you know, it's got Mark Meir, which is Shepard from Mass Effect, as Skullface, and Derek Mears, who was the remake's Jason, as Jessica. So it's got a couple of voices in there, you'll know. It says it's a darkly comic homage to 80s horror. It's a puzzle game where you control Skullface, a psychotic slasher hell-bent on revenge. As Skullface, you move around hundreds of isometric puzzle levels to squash, flay, and decapitate hapless victims. You can get it on the PC, Android, and iOS right now, but it's coming to the PS4 and Xbox One this month.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, I think it sounds pretty cool. I'm just going to give a couple of headlines here since we're already nearing, basically at 10:30. There's a new Bride of Frankenstein filming next year.
Wow, really?
Yeah, there's not a lot of details, but
that's one that they haven't. I mean, how many Frankenstein remakes are there out there?
Right.
Like just like countless, but they never really touch Bride of Frankenstein at all.
It's true. It's true. It's come because of The Mummy. Let's hope it's better.
I wonder, is this within that? We talked about this a long time ago. That film universe they're trying to do.
It is. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have to see. I don't know.
Dr. Jekyll's at it again.
Yep. This is cool. Robert Englund wants Kevin Bacon to play Freddy in the next Nightmare on Elm Street.
Who wants him to?
Robert Englund, the original Freddy.
Oh, okay. Whenever somebody says like, "Oh, we want so and so to be Freddy," in my head, I'm immediately like, Robert Englund is still alive, people.
Yeah, no, he is.
So
I don't get why they don't just use him, but they don't. I don't know. I don't get that. Like, when you have him at your disposal, use him. I mean, he's going to be, in makeup and a costume anyway. But nevertheless,
he seems like he's in really good health too.
Yeah,
for his age.
He really does. One I'm excited about is, I guess everybody's heard they're bringing Jamie Lee back to a John Carpenter Halloween next year.
I saw that.
How cool is that?
That's very cool.
So, we spoke a few shows ago about Danny McBride being in it and all that, and how they're being as faithful as they can, and John Carpenter's having a big part in it, so he wanted Jamie Lee back, and she was willing. Activia's got her moving, so didn't again. All right, but yeah, I think that's so awesome. I'm really excited, and it's one of those things. I think we may finally get the Halloween movie we've been wanting for a long time that we haven't gotten in a while.
It seems like we're in our age of remakes. Does it seem like we're finally getting to the point where with these remakes, they're finally doing what fans wanted from the get-go?
I like to think so, but You know, with it, I think so that they did, but I haven't seen it. I'll be honest. I am a huge, insane horror nut and have been since I was small, but I haven't seen it. We haven't felt good, you know, so not everybody at the same time, and I'm not going to go without everybody else. So I'm excited to see it. I'm hoping that, you know, if they're going to remake it, at least it's good.
I've heard it's really good.
Yeah.
I just talking with friends and, you know, nobody's had anything bad to say about it.
Mm-hmm. Same here. It's all I've heard is positive, so I'm excited. We'll see, I guess. All right, let's take a break, and we'll get back here, and we'll talk about what we're going to do this month. We'll talk about the fun show ideas that we're going to be doing randomly, and we'll talk about some Halloween and take some listener questions.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so if you're on board with that, let's go ahead and do that, and we shall return.
Hi there, guys and ghouls. It's me, Elvira, the Queen of Halloween, and tonight I'm having my Halloween party right here at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific.
After Elvira shows you the weirdest, scariest videos ever made, the terror continues with Alice Cooper live in Detroit at midnight Eastern. Elvira at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific Time, followed by Alice Cooper in concert at midnight Eastern, 11 Central, 9 Pacific. A Halloween you'll remember, a Halloween you won't be able to forget on MTV.
Last one there's a Halloweenie.
Oh, I do enjoy an evening with a little light entertainment. But when your video heads get dirty, you lose your picture. Not a pretty sight. Happily, this new Polaroid video cassette will help you. It actually cleans your heads as it plays, so dirty heads needn't haunt you. New Polaroid video cassettes. Get the picture?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Friday the 13th. You may only see it once, but that will be enough. Friday the 13th. Rated R.
Now playing at Man Westwood, Man's Hollywood, and a theater near you.
Did you know that a young boy drowned? The counselors weren't paying any attention.
Kill her, Mommy. Kill her.
One must never go to camp unprepared. In order to survive, arm yourself with the knowledge by listening to I'll Podcast on Your Grave every other Tuesday, or end up like the rest of the counselors. Go to MidnightSpookhouse.com for showtimes. And with that, we have returned. Now, take the advice and make sure to keep those VHS heads clean. That's important if you're going to be a VHS movie watcher.
Especially with how old these things are getting.
Yeah, of course. I remember back in the day that it was a nightmare. All right, I'm not going to dwell on VHS right now. We'll do that later, I guess. Ryan, what have we got up for this month? Let's do that real quick so that if anybody has to go to bed or something later on in the show, they'll have already heard it. What are we up to?
All right, so we have an entire schedule. We've kind of put this thing together for the entire month. So I'll go ahead and say that things are subject to change here and there, and we're certainly going to be adding things here and there. And we're going to talk in a little bit about some more random day shows. We need to come up with a good name for that.
yeah, we got to do better than random show. We'll think of something.
A random show. Okay, so this Friday, October 6th, if you're not out watching Blade Runner, join us for the paranormal show as usual. So far, we've got that as Alien Abductions 2 and More Cryptids. or Cryptids Part 2.
But we're also talking maybe Origins of Halloween, since it'll be like an intro Halloween episode for this month. We'll see.
So when we get into these things, expect more Halloween-esque.
Yeah, definitely.
And the history, of course, of Halloween. It might not be quite what you expect. So
yeah, maybe not.
It'll be educational.
We like educational things.
So starting the following week, we know that on that Friday, we have a Friday the 13th in October. How cool is that?
That is the coolest thing ever.
So what do you think we'll be talking about all that week?
It's just, we couldn't screw that up. I'm sure every other show will be too, but I mean, we love Jason too much to not do it. It's true, yeah.
I honestly don't care what the other shows are doing.
Right.
So starting on October 10th, so that's our rad show for the week. That starts Voorhees Appreciation Week, / Camp Crystal Lake reunion. So we're going to be talking about all things Jason, since it's going to be Friday the 13th. We'll probably rank the movies. We'll talk about the video games, character analysis. Maybe even do some matchups for Jason. You know, could any of the other horror icons beat Jason? You know, with Freddy.
Yeah, that sounds
Freddy
fun.
Took him on, and I don't know. That's up for interpretation, I think.
Yeah.
Do you think he beat Freddy?
I do not. I feel as he did. Yeah, I think, you know, Freddy may have technically had the last laugh, as they say, but it was only as a head. So
that was a fun ending.
It was.
I like that. That was very Freddy. So yeah, next week is all Jason Voorhees Appreciation Week. So next week on the 17th. Next week on the 17th is Zombie Week. I think that's the following Tuesday. So we're going to be ranking our favorite zombie flicks, zombie video games, talking about what's going on with zombies right now. And The Walking Dead starts that week, I believe.
It starts the 22nd, 24th, whichever is Sunday.
Oh, so I got that wrong.
Sunday the 22nd, I believe it is.
So yeah, on our October 20th show.
But it'll lead up to it, so.
It does. So that Friday before, we'll be doing zombie lore. Talking about some zombie apocalypse preparations. Talking about the people that kind of fantasize about the zombie apocalypse. Could there be anything to that? Could there one day be a zombie apocalypse? Tune in on the show to find out.
Yeah. What's cool is the 24th, the 24th, the Tuesday, will be a podcast on your grave episode. It'll be right after the Walking Dead episode, so we can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it.
Let's see, on the 24th, so far I've got this as the beginning of Vampire Week.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I realized, and thank you, sir, for reminding me of this, is we've left out a Ghostbusters appreciation.
Yeah, that's going to be,
so
we got to do that.
Yeah, so I've got this written down as Vampire Week, but I would much rather talk about Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I think this is an outline. Like, we're going to do zombies, we're going to do Friday the 13th, we're going to do Ghostbusters, and vampires. That's kind of going to be our 4 big things for the month.
Yeah.
We will work them in regular show times, so you ain't got to worry about that.
So I think on the 27th, on that paranormal show, that we'll be talking about vampire lore there as well.
Okay.
So we're not going to completely forget about that. But yeah, I expect a lot of Ghostbusters that week. Hell, just expect a lot of Ghostbusters throughout the month.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
it is that kind of month.
It'd be wrong to do it otherwise.
It would. And some fun info about the little shows we're going to be doing. We're going to be playing some tunes, some Halloween tunes. And we're going to play some old classic horror radio shows. And kind of a Mystery Science Theater kind of deal. We're going to, kind of talk about it while it happens. So if you guys want to talk about it with us. We'd love that.
It'll be an analysis of shows that came before ours.
Absolutely.
We're gonna see how they did it back in the day. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. I've already listened to some and picked a few out, and I think they sound great. I'm pretty excited to listen to them with everybody. Yeah. Well, I guess
let's see.
That's pretty much. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Last thing on the schedule follows on October 30th, so on Halloween's Eve.
Ooh, All Hallows Eve.
So is that All Hallows Eve?
That's it. Is that a Friday though? No. That's a Monday, isn't it?
That would be our Tuesday. That'd be our Tuesday.
I'm trying to think with our midnight schedule on Friday. I was trying to make it see if it would work, but no, this is the Tuesday show, so never mind.
Yeah, so on that day we'll kind of wrap up for the month and talk about what we're going to be doing for the holiday the next day, and just expect a lot more random Halloween.
Yeah,
it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, don't be a Halloweenie, as Elvira said in the commercial. Don't do it. Be there or be square. What's that?
Wouldn't you love to go back in time and go to that Elvira show?
My God, yes.
That sounded like such a good time.
Mm-hmm. It did. And then they had some good tunes in Detroit. Yeah, it sounded like a really fun night. Better times, man. Better times. All right, well, let's talk about some better times.
All right, where do we want to begin?
Yeah, let's welcome Dark Falls. I just saw you in the chat. I don't know who all's here. I'm sorry anymore. I don't have names like I used to. Now I just know if you actually post in chat. Otherwise, you're completely invisible to me. So there is that.
So say hi. Tell us in the chat what your favorite Halloween candy is. And if you do so, I will send some to you.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
How's that?
Yeah.
We'll see if anybody wants some candy.
Darkfall says you can never have too much Ghostbusters.
No, there's no such thing.
And he says, say when? Isn't that how you pronounce it? It reads like Sam Hain, but it's either Saywin or Sawin. I know it is. I'm pretty sure it's Sawin.
I think that's like the correct pronunciation. I've always said Sam Hain myself.
It's Gaelic, so I think it's Sawin, if I remember correctly. I could be looking it up, but I'm not. So, ooh, he said Smarties, so you owe him some Smarties, sir.
All right. Some Smarties will be coming to you in the future, Dark Falls.
All right, just get in touch with Ryan. I'll give you his home address so you can ride him or stop by. No, I'm joking. That's for everybody now.
He's taking up the first candy slot. There's only one more candy slot left, so if you want some candy, let us know.
Ah, saw one. I nailed it. Sweet. I used to probably know that. I don't know. I picked it up along the way. There's a Michael Myers angle eventually that sort of happens. I don't know. So tonight we're going to be talking about the origin of Halloween just a little bit. You know what? It might just be fun to save that for Friday altogether because, half a show we'll do maybe abductions or we'll just see how the show goes. And then we'll do origins because I do think that there are people who don't really know still. And that doesn't make you stupid. It doesn't even make you ignorant, really. It just means you just don't know. I don't look up everything I don't know. It's nice when somebody just wants to tell you sometimes, so you don't have to look it up.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that's what's up. So instead of even giving the background of Halloween, really, other than it's super cool, Well,
tonight is technically a rad, so
it is.
Let's talk about what was rad about Halloween.
What was rad about Halloween? Because the same things now aren't the same things then. It's not the same kind of Halloween. Let's do a retrospective of it, shall we?
Let's do it.
Talk about it, Ryan. What was awesome? You know what? This might be more fun. Let's start out with the costumes, and then we'll kind of get into the other things you do for Halloween. So what were some of your favorite costumes?
Okay, well, do you want to mention your absolute favorite costume first? Or save that for a moment?
My favorite costume was the one I wore 2 years ago, but I know what you mean. I struggle because you remember pretty much every costume back then was the easily rippable vinyl costume and the plastic mask that was made of eggshell, basically, right?
Yeah, so that was just in general. That was what was a lot more fun about Halloween when we were kids. You know, like you were saying, you could get the official licensed, sheet of paper and crappy eggshell mask. That's literally what it was. It was like
absolutely, yeah.
This plastic bag of a shirt. Or was it really even a shirt? It was more like an apron kind of deal.
Yeah, it really was. It just tied. I mean, you put it on, you got in basically a trash bag, and then you had your parents tie it in the back, and then you rubber banded a plastic eggshell on your face.
You know what I hated about those costumes?
What's that? Besides everything?
Besides everything, but they weren't really made to look like the character. Like, the shirt piece of it was just like kind of a billboard for whatever the property was.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember my cousin, she was Smurfette one year. She went with us, and it came with like a plastic, with the string Smurfette mask, which looked decent for what it was. But the shirt it came with was, or you can't even really call those a shirt.
No, definitely not.
I mean, it was like not even a half-ass apron. I mean, it was like a string piece of plastic you put on over your shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it wasn't like Smurfette's body or anything. It was just like the Smurfs logo and like a picture of the characters. And it's like,
yeah.
So
the Alf one was the same way. There's like a picture of Alf on it. It's like Alf never had a Alf shirt.
Yeah. And I remember one of my neighbors was a Thundercat. So he had like a Lion-O mask, but then like the shirt thing was just like the Thundercats logo and like them in a pose and everything.
I've got some pictures of some of those up, and there's a Chewbacca one. His top half is yellow, and he's got a picture of himself on it, and it says Star Wars.
That was my favorite costume of Chewbacca's, where he wore the t-shirt with himself on it.
Right. That's the best one. Agreed.
So yeah, I think we agree that those were the worst Halloween costumes. Thankfully, I never had one of those to my knowledge, unless I was put in one from a really young age.
Wonder Woman is trying to do a classy corset without making it look as though boobs are there. Exactly. Very tasteful. Yoda is green. It is clearly a green trash bag with a picture of Yoda on it that says Empire Strikes Back.
Wow.
There's a Bugs Bunny one with a picture of Bugs Bunny on it. Like all of these, there's a Bigfoot one, which is basically just a huge picture of Bigfoot. It even has a big foot of his pushed out on the front.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, I had Sesame Street Ernie whenever I was very small. I actually still remember it. And it had a picture of like a rubber ducky on it. It was kind of cute. My favorite, I think, was I was Macho Man Randy Savage one year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and it looks really cool. I actually almost bought it again the other day, and I was like, you know what? Those things suck. What am I going to do with it? It's like $35. You can get them on eBay from yesteryear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not quite worth it, but
the investment those companies put into those, it probably took like 15 cents to manufacture those.
Right, if that. I mean, it's a trash bag and like the thinnest paper plastic you've ever imagined in your whole life. Like,
I'm honestly surprised people still have those to sell.
Yeah.
Like, how have they not deteriorated?
I agree. I don't know. Let's see. I'm looking through them. There's a Batman one here I had once, which was pretty awesome. I had Alf. I had a Smurf. Now go ahead. What else did you have?
Well, I was going to say my favorite costume I ever had was Raphael from Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah. Those are great.
And it was like the wraparound mask. It was like a real cloth mask. So you had to like wrap it around your head and tie it. And it had like the turtle nose.
I remember that one, I think.
And
big plastic turtle nose.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember that.
It came with the weapons and everything. And so I don't know if I like it more for that or what. But
probably, because I can kind of remember it sitting on my face and I was like, ugh, this doesn't feel very good. But
it was cool because
I was Donatello. I remember having it.
it was cool because, you know, after Halloween, it's like, yeah, I got these turtle weapons now.
Yeah.
You know, we can just play Ninja Turtles whenever.
It's true. I remember going to, what was it called? Coach's Gifts in the mall, if you remember that store.
I don't.
I went to a
Coach's?
Yeah, it's called Coach's. And my friend and I, we were just there randomly, and we saw they had these big, like, they were made of cloth, but they were firm. They were big turtle shells, and they were licensed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and they, you know, they all came with their little tie around their colors and things, and it was really cool. We didn't wear them for Halloween, but my God, did we play outside in them like every day for 6 hours. You know, we were Ninja Turtles. You got to love that, man. You just have to.
So were you ever a hobo for Halloween?
I was not. Poor, sure. Hobo, no.
I was convinced that everybody did a hobo at least once.
Oh, yeah, sir. I didn't, actually. I guess never inspired. I don't know.
I did a werewolf one time. It was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Like, I actually, I tried my best to do the Universal Monsters werewolf makeup to myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably looked more like someone's like rabid pug or something.
Well, that's all right.
Costume was pretty cool. I got like a flannel shirt and ripped it up and put some fur in it and everything.
Costumes used to just be really, really poorly made. They didn't look like anything they were supposed to. You might find a similarity at best.
That was the point I think I was originally going to make was, that was the thing back then. Like, you could either settle for like the trash bag costume, or you could try to get creative and like actually create the character that you're.
That's it. Yeah.
And that's what was the most fun about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't a time where there were just amazing costumes at every store and Walmart was stocked full of them and things like that. So
yeah, so Liam, my youngest son, he gets to be Sonic the Hedgehog this year.
Yay, that's awesome. Go ahead and talk about what your kids are being. I gotta run to the bathroom. I actually didn't go before the show. I was trying to get my kid to bed. So talk about that, and I'll be back in like 60 seconds.
All right.
Sorry about that, guys. Just bad planning on me altogether. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, so Liam is he gets to be Sonic the Hedgehog this year, and that's really cool. I would have loved to have had a costume like that back when I was a kid, because you know, we've been talking about the trash bag costumes. This one is actually, you know, a full body suit. It's actually made of cloth. It actually, for what it costs, it looks pretty nice. So that's definitely something that I would have killed to have been as a kid. Connor is going to be Jason Voorhees, so that's really cool. He was very specific about his selection. He wants to be Friday the 13th Part 3 Jason. So he's been very particular about the clothes we're picking out and everything. He didn't want to just like be jumpsuit Jason or overalls Jason. You know, those are the ones you usually see. And I found a really nice mask for him on Amazon. It's an official licensed Friday the 13th Part 3 mask. So,
I got back just in time. I'm hearing about the Part 3 mask. That's what I like.
Yeah, got the official licensed 3 mask. Those are really nice. Like, I think you could actually like get out and play some street hockey with those.
Is it the Nika one, or is it just a different brand one?
I
don't know who really makes them anymore.
I've already taken the tag off of it. I'm not sure. I can see their font in my head, but I can't remember what company it was.
All the ones I have are like custom made ones, and they're like $150 a piece or whatever. And I'm certainly not bragging. All I'm saying is, if you want a good one, you ain't got to spend that. That's me being, I've watched them since I was 4 and been traumatized for 30 years. I need like movie screen accurate ones. But for like $5-10, like Ryan said, you can get an unbelievably cool Jason mask.
Yeah, this one was $8 on Amazon, and it looks as good as you can get for that price. I mean, it's not like those like flimsy. You've seen like they glow in the dark
dollar store ones. They have those. Yeah,
they're like a dollar. You know, this thing actually holds its shape. You know, it is a, for all intents and purposes, it is a hockey mask.
Right.
Like, I'm serious. Like, you could actually like get out and play some hockey with it.
That's awesome.
But of course it's painted, you know, to be worn, you know, it's got that wear and tear from Jason wearing it.
Well, you know, he's been out doing a lot of stuff in the woods. So
yeah,
naturally,
so, I mean, this thing, like if you flung this thing out in a barn somewhere and somebody happened upon it, it would look like an old hockey mask.
That's
like,
awesome.
That's the best way I can describe it.
I saw a picture. It looks good. Really does. Looks great.
So I think they're both all set. Liam is super pumped to be Sonic. He's got his red shoes. He found some white gloves to wear. He's super pumped about that.
That's awesome.
Like, I would have killed to have been Sonic when I was a kid.
I know you would.
Those costumes, they just, the costumes you can get now for kids. I mean, if you're just going to spend like $8 or $10, just completely blow what we had out of the water.
It's true, yeah.
Especially when you're talking about those trash bags.
You know, guitars are the same way. Whenever I started guitar, like a $200 guitar was iffy on the quality. Like, you could get a really crappy guitar for $200. Like, the quality control was so bad. Now you can spend $200, get like the most entry level, like Ibanez or an Epiphone, and it's a really good guitar. Now, it's not going to have, you know, it's not going to be made from exotic woods, and it's not going to have the most expensive, you know, hardware in it and on it, but at the same time, it's going to sound really good. Like, I went through some really bad guitars. It's a different time. So yeah, the trash bags are so different.
I think it's people growing up with similar experiences, and now they are adults and working in the guitar industry, or, you know, even Halloween costumes. And what they're doing is, you know, like, they remember that experience, same experience you had. Like, you know, you drop that money and you get a piece of crap. Well, now they're like, you know, let's make a legitimate, for real, entry level guitar that, like, you can be proud of for this price.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because I mean, $150, $200 is not nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a substantial amount of money.
And I think it's the same thing with Halloween costumes. You got people now, like, you know, they still make some cheap stuff, but I think everybody was just kind of embarrassed and sick of the trash bag thing. So they're like, you know, let's make an actual cloth like jumpsuit of these characters, you know, and keep it around $10. You know, that's what we would have wanted when we were kids. So let's do it for these kids.
I have super fond memories of those costumes, but they're just terrible and when it comes to quality, they're just awful.
I think what bothered me most about them was like the whole logo on the shirt thing.
I can see that.
You know, if you're going to be Chewbacca, like, have the little plastic shirt like actually be Chewbacca's chest.
I'm going to post a link in chat for everybody to kind of show you some of them if you're not really if you don't remember, you're not familiar. Oh, and welcome, Hester Prine. It is great to see you. Again, I'm sorry if I haven't said hello and you've been here longer. If people aren't registered, honestly, and don't post, I can't see them anymore, and that's okay. You're allowed to do that if you want, of course. But it's hard. I don't know who to say hello to particular. So hello, everyone. Hello, Hester, and hello again, Dark Falls. All right, Ryan, I'm sorry. I don't mean to sidetrack. I see things, and
that's all good.
It happens. All right, so check out that link I just posted, guys, and look at those bizarre costumes.
Do you think there's a name for those? Like, I know when you went to the store, it's not like, you get the Randy Savage trash bag.
Right.
Or here's the Miss Piggy trash bag.
I don't know. These are called plastic Halloween costumes every 80s kid wanted.
Boy, they were.
Yeah. They were. Plastic is giving it a little credit. This was so thin. There was very little plastic used. So
this is more like how do you describe it?
I think it's like what they wrap cheese in. It's almost that thin. Except that holds up better. That shit, you can't tear that stuff. But these costumes you could.
I was gonna say it's like when you go to the store and get a salad in like a plastic container.
Yeah.
It's like those plastic containers are tougher than those masks are.
They are, and probably twice as much plastic overall.
As thin as those.
Dark
are.
Falls calls them trash dooms. I can agree with that.
Trash dooms, that's a good one.
Yeah, they are. They're bago costumes. There's another way to go. They're just trash bags, folks. It is what it is. All right. Well, I mean, what else can you say about them? If you guys have any memories of really fun costumes, we'd love to hear about them.
Oh, did you ever do a sheet with holes cut out to be a ghost?
Yeah, but not on Halloween. Just for fun, because I was always into ghosts.
I totally did that for Halloween.
That's awesome.
1 year. So that was a frustrating costume, though. It's hard to like keep it on your head, and I don't know. That was not a fun Halloween.
And if you step on it, it pulls off.
Yeah.
There was a pretty cool scene similar to that in the remake, or not the remake, the recent Annabelle movie, Creation. There's a scene with a sheet that's, I think, pretty cool. Now, I know that's not, it's not exactly original, but it just reminded me of that. So if you guys haven't seen Annabelle Creation, I think it's worth checking out. At least give it a rent when it comes out. I think it's a lot better than the original Annabelle. I wasn't a fan of the original movie, so.
So what I was going to say is, I think halfway through that trick-or-treat experience that year, I was like, forget this. Like, this is just frustrating. And I went home and I just grabbed like a skull mask.
Mm-hmm.
And I went as like Ghetto Skeletor, essentially.
Oh, Skeletor's great. There's a new commercial for Geico with He-Man and Skeletor. And it kind of breaks my soul, but I'm happy to see them. You know what I mean? I don't know what to think about it. So
it was really,
yeah.
I'm glad to see Skeletor and He-Man kind of coming back.
They look great in HD, I will say.
Not in the way I would like for them to be coming back, but I hope people are out there, like, they see these commercials and they're at least going back to check out what are these dudes from?
That early 2000 series was pretty good.
I liked it.
Yeah. Not original great, but not bad. It wasn't Teen Titans Go, it's better than that.
That's a pretty low bar.
I think so.
Sorry if you're a fan of Go, but that's literally like YouTube poop that's been put on the air.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. YouTube poop is great. Anybody that hasn't seen YouTube poop, just go search on YouTube. YouTube poop. Yeah.
King of the Hill is the best YouTube poop. Hands down.
Ghetto Skeletor, yeah. Ryan's got away with the words, doesn't he?
Yeah, so my Ghetto Skeletor, I put on like a black pair of sweatpants and a black hoodie and a skull mask. So I was like this weird, like, dark colored Skeletor.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, I can do this. And I resumed my trick-or-treating. And that was another thing. Like, I can remember staying out all night.
Let's do that for a second part. Is that, you want to do that? I was thinking we kind of divide the show like from costumes in the second part and be like the routine, the rituals.
Yeah, what are we at for time?
Oh, we're good. It's just 5 after. Now we do have listener questions, and but we're not in an extreme hurry or anything. So any more on costumes, by all means, let's talk about it. And then if that's cool with you, we'll second half we'll kind of do the rituals and things like that, the candies and whatnot.
Well, I think that's it for I think I'm gonna wrap it up with my Ghetto Skeletor.
I can't remember more of my costumes, really. That's what's bumming me out. I remember I was a vampire one year, and I had the fake fangs and the blood pack and things. And if I remember correctly, I couldn't get the fake blood to work the way I wanted it to. I wanted to pop it in my mouth and let it ooze out, and I just couldn't get it to. I don't know.
Yeah.
It didn't work out too well. But I can't remember a lot of other costumes.
I like how they just sell big bottles of fake blood now. They're like motor oil quarts.
Ever since Carrie, that's just all you need. Just dump it over you and you got a costume.
That's it.
I'm a bloody, disgruntled person living life. There's my costume, assholes. I think that's where you go with it.
For Connor's costume, I've actually thought I might get some fake blood.
Mm-hmm.
And like, ball up like a t-shirt or something and soak it in it.
Murder oil, says Dark Falls. That's genius, dude. That's the best. I love it.
And like, get him to like go out in the yard and like smash the shirt with a stick or something to get like some blood splatter. Flying off that, you know, just to add to the effect of his costume.
Just put it on a brush and sling it at him, like, you know, and try not to get it all over everything. That's kind of a way to get the spatter kind of look to it.
Murder this teen.
Right, yeah. I like it. I probably won't. My mask, I got a hood and a mask, and they both are the part 4. If you look up Friday 13th part 4, I'm going to look like that. And
is this like the latex mask that goes over your head?
Yeah.
And then you put the hockey mask over it?
Yeah.
That thing looks really cool.
Yeah, I got that kind of deal, and it's got where he took the machete to the head at the end of that one. And it's got blood everywhere on the mask and the hood. It's really cool.
One thing I was wondering, can you hear very well in that?
We'll see.
Mask? Oh, you don't have that one yet?
No, I actually ordered it today. I've got other masks, but I didn't have a hood, so I just went and ordered the combo. They're custom made. They look cool.
I was looking at it online, and I was like, I wonder how well you can hear in it.
I have a Sam.
Got it all on.
Well, they call him Sam. He's from the movie Trick or Treat, which just came out a few years ago, which I highly recommend. It's like a little horror anthology kind of movie, like Creepshow. I loved it. It's so good.
It's a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah. And Sam, I've got a costume. I was Sam a couple of years ago, and that's got an over the head mask.
You need to get you that little Sam action figure.
That would be so cool. I would love anybody who got me that.
It's like the reaction figures. You know what I'm talking about?
I do. Yeah.
Funko. He's like a little 2-inch tall Sam. That's really cool.
I will say that costume, it's like it's wool. So it was like wearing pajamas, and it was already warm on Halloween, and the mask is complete over the head. It was like it was like going as a sweat box for Halloween, basically. I remember barely wearing the mask because I just couldn't stand it. It was too hot.
Yeah.
But really neat. I've still got the mask, of course. Yeah.
So for now, do you want to take a little quick music break, and then we'll get back and talk about some Halloween rituals?
Sure. Let's do some commercials and a trailer and things like that. Let's get back in the Halloween spirit a little more, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. We'll be right back.
This morning, Billy looked like any other boy, but as the moon rose, he turned into a werewolf. He used new Pa's Halloween makeup kits. His friends did too. Look, Mike's a vampire. Amy's a ghost. Pa's makeup is safer than masks. It never blocks vision, and it's hypoallergenic too. So watch your kids turn into the creatures they really are with new Pa's Halloween makeup kits.
Know who to call when you have ghosts. But who do you call when you have monsters?
We're the Monster Squad. What's a squad? It's like Miami Vice, I think.
They're young and inexperienced.
Naughty virgin.
They're a bit disorganized.
Monsters are not real.
We don't know that, sir.
2,000-year-old dead guys do not get up and walk away by themselves.
But when strange things start happening in town...
There's a monster in my closet.
Whoa! Look at that big, scary monster!
What's happening? You wait till the werewolf.
Silver bullet?
They're the only ones ready to do battle.
Something's out there that's killing people. And if it's monsters, nobody's gonna do a thing about it but us.
Soon the creatures of the night shall rule the world.
Real monsters? Us? Midnight. In the world, remember? Maybe we can be like Mask Squad and Stitch, you know? 2 mask bombs.
Yeah, 1035, Stitch back up! Hurry up!
Or Nature Squad. The book is right. Don't you think it's all true?
By midnight...
You guys!
They won't seem so young anymore.
Squad.
Wolfman's gone mad.
Hope you're enjoying the show tonight. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. But the fun doesn't have to stop there. If you head over to MidnightSpookhouse.com, you can download all the old episodes and listen to them as you want. Also, feel free to use the contact link and send us your messages. We might read them on air. Once again, head over to MidnightSpookhouse.com. And with that, we have returned once more from the ghoulish grave. Does that sound cool? I don't know. That doesn't sound cool. Now it does. I don't think it did the way I said it. I think it could have, and I blew it. Oh well, that's what you get for shooting from the hip a little too hard on the show without having a plan. Anyway, have you watched any horror movies yet, Ryan? I know I asked you the other day. Have you seen anything else? Because I think everybody should answer this. If you haven't, you need to. Have you watched anything Halloween yet?
Let's see. So on October 1st, I watched Ghostbusters 2, and last night I watched the first The Conjuring.
Awesome
movie.
Well, you're doing good already. Then we're on day 3, so you're already in 2. That's great.
Let's see. And every day before school, me and the kids watch an episode of The Real Ghostbusters.
That counts. That's legit right there.
That's been a tradition for, since school started, really. I remember
awesome.
Before I got on the bus for school, I always watched either The Real Ghostbusters or Ninja Turtles. So
God, man,
trying to keep up with that tradition.
Those are probably my favorite 2 cartoons to have ever existed. Right there. Insanely good. What's that?
I think
okay. I thought we lost you.
That's close for me too, I think.
I He-Man's up there, and there's a lot of other ones, but those, man, I always wanted to be a Ninja Turtle and a Ghostbuster so bad I couldn't stand it. Still do.
Those are 2 shows that I can binge those.
Yeah, for sure.
You turn on some Real Ghostbusters, and I can sit there and 5 episodes later, I'm like, oh crap, I've lost 2 hours of my life.
My daughter and I have been watching. This is not Halloween at all, but it's a great show. We've been watching Three's Company every morning before school.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I just happen to really like Three's Company, as does Megan, as does she, and Andy Griffith on the days that's not on, because I don't know. I'm in a kick for old stuff that's happy. Nothing wrong with that, is there?
Well, we need some good feelings.
We do. And speaking from the commercial break, Monster Squad. Darkfall says he loved that scene in Monster Squad. Monster Squad is so good. I will say I'm still shocked to this day. I want to say it, but I'm not going to say it. At the end, Dracula says something to a little girl, and I'm just like, he didn't. I feel like I have a Maury moment. I'm like, oh, no, you didn't. You better not. I have a Maury moment there for a minute. I want to get sassy and get on stage and yell at somebody about it, but, whatever.
I didn't watch that at all last year. I got to change that this year.
Yeah, I got the Blu-ray. Hey, Blu-ray, we need to watch it. It's so good. It's just, if you've never seen it, you should. It's kind of like if you took all the Universal monsters and put them together. That's your Monster Squad ish. The Monster Squad, I guess, is what the good little boys, but whatever. It's a squad of monsters.
It's like the Goonies versus Universal Studios monsters.
That's it.
That's the best way to describe it, I think.
It is. Darkfall says he saw the Return of the Living Dead series. That's awesome. That is one of my favorite series. I absolutely love Return of the Living Dead. 1 and 3, I could watch over and over every day. 2, I could watch in between those once in a while. I really like 2, don't get me wrong. It's just 1 and 3 are my favorites. Have you seen 4 or 5? I think we had talked about that before. And you said you hadn't. If you haven't, don't.
No, I haven't.
Don't. No one see those. Those are atrocious. They do everything they can to make that series suck because they're, 20% or 40% total of the 100% of the series. That's a healthy chunk. So don't. One's called Necropolis and the other one's called Dead something maybe. I don't remember. but they're just garbage. I'm sorry to people out there who might like them. They're on Sci-Fi, if it tells anything. So, but yeah, cartoons and horror movies. I watched The Addams Family overnight as we came into the first day of the month, and I remember seeing it in the theater as a kid, and the second one too, and it was like, oh God, so good, man. Like I would have never called, because I grew up watching The Addams Family and the Munsters, and I didn't think even as a kid that it would be a good movie, and I was completely wrong.
Isn't there like a modern Munsters movie?
More modern than the Munsters, definitely. They were in color and they had a different Herman and things, but it's not very good. 5 was Rave to the Grave. That's it. You just know a movie called Rave to the Grave is going to be awesome, right?
Sounds like a good name for a rave.
I remember they both dropped at the same time because they were so awesome. You know, great movies come in twos to TV, right?
Yeah.
That's how they break cinematic records. But yeah, I'm not trying to hate. I love horror and I'm lenient, but they were bad. Yeah. 3 is awesome, Ryan. If you haven't seen 3, I don't want to sound too guy about it, but the girl is beautiful and she becomes really badass in it. Okay. I think you really like it. She really takes what you think you know about zombie stuff and kind of does something completely different. It's just really neat. So if you haven't seen it, the second one just feels kind of like a remake of the first one with a different story with the same actors and characters. It's strange.
Huh.
But yeah, well made for sci-fi movies tend to be bad. Dark Paul says, yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, they do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what were the rituals as a kid? What did you do? You got up and you went to school. You wore your costume, of course, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And what else? What was special about Halloween for you as a kid?
Well, no work at school for the whole day.
That's awesome.
The extent of work was probably coloring Halloween related pictures or doing other artwork, making decorations and stuff for the house.
Don't you remember that, making decorations? That was so fun.
You don't really do that anymore. We did the whole paper chains thing, except they were black and orange.
Yeah, it's like how everybody used to do like popcorn garland and things for Christmas. Nobody does that anymore. I think we did it last year, but it's not that common anymore. And it's fun. People should be creative, be crafty. Crafts are fun. I don't know if it's when you get older or what, but I know as a kid I loved them. And now that I'm older, I love them. I'm not old, don't get me wrong, but older. And I love crafts. Art's cool, right? And if you can mix Halloween with it, it becomes like amazing really fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
And carving the pumpkins.
Oh, yeah. That is definitely part of the ritual, the routine, as they say. Monster movie marathons, Dark Fall says, I can completely agree with that. That is a huge part of the season. One of the things that I liked a lot were the decorations back then. They weren't nearly as flashy and fancy. But do you remember they were just flat, like paper, but they were really colorful, and everybody's parents and grandparents all had the same stuff. There were witches and pumpkins and ghosts, but
best Halloween decoration of all time, hands down, and you can fight me over it if you want.
I will.
The paper skeleton.
Of course it is.
That was like real sized. You know, that thing was like
bigger than us as kids even, yeah.
Yeah, it was just a paper skeleton, and it was like realistic, you know?
Yeah, looked great. Like black outlined, kind of a shiny paper. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I love it. They're just not made the same anymore. They don't look the same. I don't know what it is. It's different.
Well, they should do that again.
Agreed. Make them the same way, because I want one. We bought some a couple years ago, and I've probably still got them and going to put them up, but I don't know. They don't. It doesn't look the same. It doesn't. When I see it, I'm not like, oh, Halloween. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that feeling you get that this stuff gives you. That's what makes Halloween so important. It's the feelings, the excitement, the fun.
So let's talk about the fun.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you got to go out by yourself? Like, I remember my parents taking me, when you're really young, but you get so old, it's like, you guys just go.
I actually don't remember. That's sad, isn't it? I mean, I did, but I don't really remember it.
See, I lived in a small town, so everybody knew everybody, and I guess it felt safer. But yeah, we headed out, and we totally did the 2 costume deal.
That's awesome.
One of my most memorable
Yeah.
Halloweens. We did our whole route. Me and my friends, we planned out our route and filled up a bucket with candy, and then we went back to my house and switched up costumes. You wear something with a mask, of course. You don't want anybody to see your face, so they know you're not double dipping.
Right. That's just smart business right there.
Yeah, you head out again and do it again. You're tired by the end of the night, but man, it's worth it.
Yeah, all that candy, because you used to could just really take in a pile of candy.
Yeah.
And it was the good stuff.
Did they let you take your candy to school?
No, I'm pretty sure I never got to. I mean, you would sneak it, but, generally.
Yeah, I remember we would sneak it and trade and stuff, but eventually they were like, okay, everybody's trading candy, just don't be like eating it in class,
Right.
So they got kind of lenient on us.
Yeah, well, but
we thought we were being sneaky, but when being a parent now, you see your kids doing something like you did. It's like you thought you were so sneaky, but now you realize, my parents totally knew I was doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I can hear it when like they'll say things and it's like, did I really think that was going to work? Because clearly my kid thinks that.
You just let it slide.
Yeah. You have to every once in a while, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Darkfall said they actually had time set aside for it. That's awesome.
Nice.
For the candy trade. I love that. I don't remember. You know what? It may be when we were smaller, not small per se, but smaller. Maybe it was, it's hard to remember, but I don't remember actually getting to do it. So I'm going to say at least in the later years of school, when you still, got candy, I don't recall it, unfortunately. But man, do I miss like the fall festival. It used to be all about Halloween whenever I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You would go and there would be those skeletons up and the decorations, and you could get candy if you wore a costume, and you'd go in the gym and there'd be like a dunk booth, and you could buy candy apples, and they'd have music and things and dances sometimes.
Doesn't it seem like fall festivals now are more like Thanksgiving related?
It does, with all the hay and stuff. It's like, and the gourds and things. It's like, this is supposed to be about Halloween. You're messing this up.
There needs to be more skulls.
Yeah, there always needs to be more skulls. I dropped something and I have no idea what it is. I just heard it pop. Oh well, I'll find it later. Anyway,
it would be fun to do to sit back and try to reflect on Halloween trades and try to come up with like, okay, what was the exchange rate for like a Reese's cup?
It's like cigarettes in prison.
It was, it's like, I can remember we had a test one day and I didn't have a pencil. And I was like screwed because the day before they're like, we're done. The school's not going to lend people pencils anymore if you don't have a pencil the next day, like we're writing your parents, and it was this big deal and everything. And I remember giving up 2 Reese cups for a pencil.
Oh man,
for this kid, so
that hurts.
Desperate times.
Yeah.
But you remember those crappy like butterscotch? I think they were called like golden coins or
I do, yeah.
Whatever, but it was just like a butterscotch thing, like in clear wrapper. Those were like the pennies of candy exchange. It's like, you want a Reese cup, you're gonna have to give me like 50 of those things.
Yeah, like it's gonna take a legit whole bag of those before I'd consider a Reese cup, because Reese's are like $100 bills. You're walking around with a pocket full of hundies if you get a couple of Reese cups. I mean, that's just fact right there.
True.
Peanut butter cups. And that's something that has never been replicated properly, is the peanut butter cup. Reese's has a monopoly on that flavor.
Yeah, you can get like off-brand. or like, store brand Reese cups, but like it's different still.
We'll eat them all, but it doesn't mean they're as good.
Yeah.
It's just affordable. It's like $2 versus $8 for the Reese's at Halloween. It's like insane to get Reese's cups, which is a huge bummer, but I get it because they're amazing. They're so good.
So what was the richest, like, rich people payout you ever got? Like, what I mean is, like, you go into the swanky neighborhood, like the big houses, and they're giving out like full-size candy bars.
I remember thinking that a bag of one of those little bags of chips was like gold. I remember when we got those, and I was like, "Oh my God, these people know how to live." It's just an average neighborhood, but these people are living like royalty in my eyes. It's like, well, here's the king of this street. I know who rules this roost. You know what I mean? They give out the chips.
We drove to the next town over one year and hit up the rich neighborhood. And
smart.
I remember this one house. At this one house, I got a 20-ounce Coke.
Jesus.
Like a soda.
That's for real.
2 like movie-sized candy bars.
Wow.
I was like, holy crap. It was like a Nestle Crunch and like one of the Reese cups that had like 4 cups in it.
Good God.
Like, you're giving me a Coke and that?
That's a score, man.
You guys are loaded.
Yeah, that's supper. Thank you guys for feeding us supper. We appreciate you. That's amazing. Like, still to this day, like, that's a good little snack to sit down with,
And then,
he got a Halloween box of Lifesavers once. That is amazing.
I can dig it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Lifesavers are so good. I love the orange Lifesavers. That's my favorite of probably that, and the blue Jolly Ranchers are like my favorite hard candies, fruit flavored hard candies of all time.
You want to hear my worst?
Sure.
Halloween drop.
Let's have it.
I got a bologna sandwich.
What?
1 year.
That's insane. Who gives kids a bologna sandwich? Was it your grandma?
No.
Well, that would have been acceptable.
Random person on the street. It was like their house, but like, I don't know if they just weren't ready for kids, but it was like at that late hour, and we're just kind of milking it at that time. It's like, it's getting to be 9:30 or 10. People are starting to wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
And we go to this house. We're just kind of milking it at that point, and they're like, "Oh, okay." I think we kind of caught them off guard, and I'm handed a sandwich, like not even in a sandwich bag or anything, just like, here's the raw deal.
I don't consider that the worst. Man. It's probably the funniest, but pretty delicious. I enjoy bologna after all. So what did they give your brother and your friends? Some ranch dip and a bag of chips?
No, sandwiches too. Nothing on them. Just like a slice of bologna and the bread.
That's too dry.
Yeah.
You have to go back later and try to get some mayo or some mustard out of them. But not Miracle Whip, because that instantly becomes disgusting once you add the Miracle Whip into it. So, well, that's ridiculous. I'm jealous I don't have that story. I want that story. It's better than a can of sardines or something, though. So, I recall getting a Hershey's bar, a whole Hershey's bar once, and I'm trying to remember the story. It's kind of why I'm blanking on conversation a little bit here. I can't remember the story, but I just remember thinking that it was like Christmas for Halloween, and I think that was the only time I ever got a full candy bar, that wasn't from the grocery store or whatever.
I was thinking, I stopped to get gas one day last week, and they've got the have you seen like this is like 2 pounds of Reese cup or whatever?
Yes, I've seen the huge Reese cup.
Giant. Yeah. I mean, it's like each cup is a pound of Reese cup. Like, I was thinking like, and they're like $8.
They are. I bought one post Halloween a couple of years ago, and it was like $4, and it was so worth that.
I've never actually bought one and tried to eat it.
They don't taste the same. The little ones, there's something to them. Once they get big, they don't taste the same. It was still delicious, and we ate it all,
Maybe they used like a growth ray or something on them.
I really feel like they start to use cheaper ingredients once it gets bigger. I really feel that way. Like if you eat like Reese's ice cream or something, it doesn't taste the same. Like, and granted, it's ice cream form, but like the peanut butter doesn't taste the same to me. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's in my head.
Cool?
I don't know.
Wouldn't it be cool to like blow a kid's mind? Like get one of those and just kind of save it for your favorite costume that you see, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's a Jason Voorhees. Here you go. And just drop that sucker in their bag.
My God, you would be the coolest person ever to that kid.
That's making a Halloween memory right there.
Darkfall says that the chocolate to peanut butter ratio is off. Absolutely it is. You can't let it melt in your hand while you're talking and then, you know, have the melty, smooth chocolate sensation. It's just like, it's just this big, hard, you have to bite a full bite of chocolate before you can even get to the peanut butter. And then, I don't know, it's not the same. It's really not. It's not as soft, the peanut butter. I think that's one of the things too, is it's more firm.
Maybe they have to do that so it won't be as, you know, when you get a Reese cup, they're kind of melty anyway.
Yeah.
Like maybe they have to do that so the whole thing won't be like a big pile of goo.
That's true. Maybe. Although a pile of Reese's goo does sound fine. but you couldn't put it in that.
I would like to make a kid's memory though.
Mm-hmm.
Like that would be like my Coke and 2 candy bars memory for some kid.
We'll pay that bologna sandwich forward this year then.
Here's you a 6-inch Italian BMT.
Jesus, I'm coming to trick or treat.
It's got mayonnaise and olives on it. Hope that's okay.
That reminds me of that episode of The Office where they were out of ice cream and Michael's sitting there eating what looks like ice cream and it's just olives mixed in mayo. He's just eating it like ice cream.
Delicious.
Yeah, delicious. I don't know how we got so far away from Halloween. We're still on Halloween-ish. So what else? What you've done your trick-or-treating, you've decorated, you've got your costume, you've done your candy. What else is there, Ryan? I don't want to miss anything on our intro to Halloween.
So that's when you get back to the house and
barf. Yeah, it was gross.
You spread out the night's loot on your bedroom floor.
Mm-hmm.
Check out everything that you've got, and you just kind of step back and marvel at the 15 pounds of candy that you got.
I agree. That is, it's like gold mining or something, and then you find gold, and you're like, I'm gonna pour out my findings right here in the floor and see how rich I am.
Got to let your parents go through it, you know.
Of
make
course,
sure there's nothing bad. But you know what that's really about, though, right? Like I realize that now as a parent. That's so the candy tax can take effect. It's like you're not checking for apples with razor blades in them, or anything.
Right?
It's like, oh, here's a little mini Reese cup that's going in Daddy's pocket. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Every year.
I'll take this little Nestle Crunch too.
It's pretty awesome. Your kid goes and fetches it for you, and you just kind of have to sit in the car or walk a little bit down the road, and you reap the benefits.
Yeah, you know, well, you had to watch them for the evening, and everything. You know, that's your commission for the night. You know,
like milk duds. Yeah, you can have those, but the Reese cups are for Daddy. You know,
can't take any of the big ones. You know, but if you see this little stray like mini Reese cup, little fun size ones, yeah, those go to the candy tax.
Megan says it was always tradition for the first lighting of the new jack-o'-lanterns. It's sort of like lighting the Christmas tree, but like a week before. That's cool.
So why isn't Megan on with us?
She is driving.
Oh, okay.
She is commuting right now, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we'll have her here Friday. Well, maybe not. We'll see. Hopefully we'll have her on Friday.
I was wanting to ask her what the date was today.
What the date was today?
Yeah.
Am I missing something?
I just assumed she was a Mean Girls fan.
Oh.
It's like a Mean Girls thing.
Oh, is it? I love Mean Girls. I don't get it, though. I'm completely lost.
It's October 3rd. Like, that was, like in the beginning of the movie, when she's like talking about the dude she likes and everything. That was like the first time they spoke. He like asked her what the date was.
Jesus,
so,
you're a bigger Mean Girls fan than I am.
Yeah, so that was trending today on social media.
Oh. I really love Mean Girls, believe it or not. And not because they're pretty. I mean, I love Rachel McAdams and Lindsay Lohan and all that, but it's just kind of a fun little teenager flick that reminds me of something I would have watched as a teenager. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I like girly movies just fine. We watched 13 Going on 30 and Penelope the other night, and I love both of those. It's like, whatever.
Do you like Where the Heart Is?
I do. I love that movie. It's so sweet.
I do too.
Right? Yeah. We got hearts around here. We love and stuff. But for tonight, I can't think of anything else. I don't want to omit anything, but you guys let us know what we've missed. And this is a whole month for those who are just joining us. We're going to do a whole month of Halloween-related things. Vampires, zombies, probably some witches, Ghostbusters, Friday the 13th, because we have that coming up this month. So we'll be talking about everything.
That was the last ritual I was going to mention. After you check out your candy and everything and you start chowing down. Parents tell you, okay, it's time for bed or whatever, but that's when you pop in Friday the 13th. Preferably part 3, and stay up a little bit after dark, munching some candy.
Absolutely.
That was my go-to movie after trick-or-treating anyway.
My kid loves that they come out with big, huge boxes of caramel popcorn balls this time of year.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, she loves those individually wrapped ones. I remember
churches were great to go trick-or-treating at.
They still are. We still do that.
You'd have like old grandmas like making like giant peanut butter eggs and things.
Oh man, those are so good, right?
So that's like so much Reese cup you can't stand it.
Yeah, and the real peanut butter and the amazing chocolate. Oh God.
That's the only thing that can get close to a Reese cup is like a grandmother making a Reese like a peanut butter egg.
It's true. That's absolutely the truth. No lies.
You can't trade for that. Like, don't even bring those to school unless you're just bragging about it.
It's because you're breaking everybody's heart. It's true.
You drop a peanut butter egg down on your desk. Who's going to be able to trade for that? Like, they're gonna have to give up their entire lot for that.
Yeah, that's like the whole pail with the pail included for that thing.
Yeah. Not happening.
No.
So
agreed.
Don't be a douche. Don't be a douche and bring your peanut butter to school.
Yeah, just hang on to those. We live near a little Amish place that has a bunch of stuff like that, and it's hard not to spend $80 on it.
That's what's up. Yeah.
Yeah. They have like homemade fudge and the homemade Buckeyes, which is essentially the eggs, and then they have the actual eggs and like white chocolate fudge and white bark and things like all that homemade amazing stuff. They have it. It's hard not to spend $80 and still lose weight there, So, but it's delicious. So whatever. All right.
Go try them on Halloween. Trick or treat.
Yeah, and just
come on.
Every kid that comes by, I'll give away a $5 chocolate egg to. Nobody comes by here for trick or treating. Nobody. We keep the light on. We got candy. Nobody comes by. It's just one of those things. We kind of live back off the road a little bit. It's not super neighborhoody and there's no sidewalks. I get it, but it's kind of a bummer. As a kid, we lived in your typical suburbs and we gave out candy and it was fun.
Yeah, I think if I put myself in my kid brain back when I was trick or treating, if I come up on your house now, you've got a really long driveway.
Yeah.
And it's like, if Scary Dude steps out and like tries to drag one of us into the house, like, am I fast enough to get away? Like down that long driveway,
Yeah, and they wouldn't want to see guys like us after they did do that because kids already look at us like, Jesus Christ, they're huge. Like we're both, you're at what, 6'3" something? You're tall. And then I'm 6'7", and we got long hair and I got a big old beard. I mean, we're scary looking people. Not that you would know that not that you would think that after talking to us. Our first word would be like, "What's up, dude?"
Jason and Michael.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think people, if we stood out on the porch, hey, come get some candy, they're like, nah, probably not.
That's what we should do. Just stand on the porch dressed as Jason and Michael and stare people down.
I'm down for that. That sounds amazing.
Slowly turn your head as they walk by.
Do it in unison even. Anybody do bobbing for apples every Halloween? Megan asks. I never did.
I have done that on a couple of different occasions, but never on Halloween.
Huh.
Like I've done it like at church gathering things when I was a kid, but like it was just kind of random times, not for Halloween.
Yeah. Darkfall says, yeah, when he was a kid as well. I'd never have. So
it's harder than you think.
I think it would be immensely difficult, actually. I can't imagine. Sounds really difficult. So I give credit where it's due to anybody who's actually captured an apple. You're awesome in my book. You the real MVP, as they say. All right, so let's get to some listener questions. Let's take another break. I made a break, and it's got some more Halloween stuff. Just it's fun. So let's take another quick break, and then we'll do some listener questions and wrap up if that's good.
Sounds good to me.
And anything we missed, guys and gals, let us know, and we'll talk about it next Tuesday. Friday will probably have some Halloween to it, but it won't be as the fun stuff. It'll be more the spooky stuff, the scientific side of things. All right, so let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the world of terror. When I'm not busy embalming bodies, which isn't often, I like to relax with some good family reading. Let me introduce you to my personal library of Fangoria, the leader in horror entertainment. What a fascinatingly hideous cover of Freddy Krueger. And devilishly candid reviews of the latest horror videos. And gloriously bloody color photos from the newest Friday the 13th. They're all here in Fangoria. Can I persuade you to subscribe?
This is Fango editor Tony Tupone asking you to enter the world of Fangoria. Only $12.49 for a special 6-month video subscription. Send check or money order to Fangoria Magazine, 475 Park Avenue South, New York, 10016.
Let the dead bodies wait.
I'm Freddy Krueger, your worst nightmare come alive, and now I'm on your telephone. Dial this number now and I'll tell you Freddy's favorite bedtime stories, gruesome new tales of murder and mayhem, frightful heartstoppers of pain and gore. So dial this number now if you dare, and prepare for a scare. Freddy Krueger has a special message just for you.
$2 the first minute, 45 cents each additional minute. Children, get your parents' permission before you dial.
I kind of view my world through a scientific lens. Science, at its roots is having an open mind and accepting that we don't know everything. We don't have all the answers. But we have to continue to ask why and ask for more and look deeper and continue researching
Mark
things.
Kendall's a regular guy.
Get me out of here!
With normal problems.
I want to, but I want it to be special.
But Mark's just discovered
Hello, tall, dark, and handsome.
that his one-night stand
I haven't had anything this pure since the Vienna Boys Choir hit town.
has been around for centuries.
I'm 390 years old.
400 if you're a day. Mark Kendall is necking
Finally happened.
with a vampire.
Did I enjoy it?
Now he's losing his girl,
Bit my lip.
his customers,
Get out of here!
his image,
Look, I'm not there.
and his mind.
Oh, wow, I love your outfits.
I'm not wearing a costume.
Mark's got to choose
It's like you're not the Mark I thought I knew. You look like Jerry Lewis.
between his first love
I'm the owner of the pants you've been trying to get into for the last 4 years.
and his last date.
How would you like to spend eternity with me?
I can't. I gotta go to college.
Before his future goes up in smoke.
How'd you like your crotch set on fire? Ooh, rough trade.
Nothing is sacred in a tasty comedy
Can I have one of those uncooked ones?
you can sink your teeth into.
How was it?
Delicious.
Once bitten.
I don't want to be a vampire. I'm a day person.
And we are back. Thanks to everybody again for hanging out with us. You guys are amazing. We apologize again for the hiatus. We're not going to do it again. It was It was a good break, though. I think we did need it. We came back with some fun ideas. So here we are. All right, Ryan, we have some listener questions, and I'm pretty excited about them. They're fun. I'm sorry, everybody, that we haven't filled all of them yet. Don't be discouraged. We will get to them. Will we not, Ryan? We will get to them, right?
We sure will. So we've got some lined up. I got a few new ones today. All right. We'll get to those on the next show.
Sweet.
Might even, with everything kind of blending together for Halloween, we may just go ahead and do those for the paranormal show anyway.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, with it being Halloween, it's hard not to sort of blend everything together. This could have easily been an All Podcast on Your Grave episode. It wasn't too shy of it, at least. Because, we can do retro on it, too. All right, so this first one comes from Amanda, spelled AHMAHNDAH. Probably not the real spelling, just a guess. I've suggested this amongst my friends, but either they don't know what I'm talking about or don't agree that this would be a cool idea. Do you think they should bring back Nick Arcade? I say keep it retro, but my friends disagree. What do you think? My God, bring it back and keep it retro. Or just show reruns even. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they've been showing Starcade.
God, Starcade. They did a marathon on Twitch. Shout Factory did of Starcade, and the games were primitive. They were completely like, asteroids, like 14 different versions of asteroids, but it was so good, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, they had tons of views for it. So there's clearly an audience for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you pretty much have to keep it retro.
You have
just
to.
for length of time. You couldn't really have like, okay, it's time for the video challenge, and you step over and then like everybody play a match of like Overwatch or something.
Right.
Like there's just not enough time in a show to do that. About the only thing you could do modern that I can think of would be like fighting games.
Agreed. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because that lasts within a reasonable time limit, but you don't want to have like an all fighting game show.
Right.
Some people might think that's pretty cool, but
yeah,
I think especially in the retro craze that we're in now, I think you could do it. But again, you might lose everybody that's not into retro, but who is that and why do we care about them? So
this is the Retro After Dark show, so that's fair to say.
Just to be completely honest.
Yeah. I think everybody's into it, right?
Yeah.
It's hard not to be.
It'd be a lot of fun.
I completely agree. I see no downside to it as long as they, they keep it kind of in the old format. That was so fun. Great show. All right, you want to take the next question?
Sure. So this next one actually just comes from Anonymous. And they write, I'm big into tabletop gaming, but I remember my formative years fondly with kiddie games like Mousetrap and Shark Attack. What are some of your favorite board games from when you were a kid? Board games episode soon?
We could definitely do a board games episode. I actually found Shark Attack at a flea market about a year ago. Boring as can be, but really cool nevertheless.
I loved Clue.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know if that's like super kiddie. It's not exactly an adult game.
Yeah, I agree. I remember playing it at like 8 and 9 years old. I mean, I can,
Yeah. Clue is a lot of fun.
It is. Target did a big line of like classic versions in wooden boxes and classic designs a couple of years ago near Christmas, and we went and we bought Clue, and I love it, man. It's in like a little wooden box, and the weapons all look better than they do in the new versions and stuff. It's really awesome.
I love old board games, like really old ones. Like if you can find one complete at the flea market, just really old weird stuff. Like my brother, he's got a Donkey Kong board game based on the Donkey Kong arcade game.
That's super cool.
And the board like folds out and it looks like the first stage. So it's like the girders going up and you roll the dice and then you get to move so far along the girders, and then there's different spaces that tell you different things.
That sounds kind of like Candyland.
It's like, man, that's really cool. Weird. Yeah, it's basically like Candyland reskinned as Donkey Kong, essentially.
Sounds amazing. I like Candyland. I end up having to play it with my daughter a lot, and I kind of like it. They've got a funny rule though. Towards the end of the journey on there, the last spaces, the witch, I think it's a witch, I don't know, Megan, correct me if I'm wrong, has her foot on one of the spaces. They made up a rule that once you get that far, you don't have to go back anymore. Once you touch the foot of that character, you no longer have to go back to the start. It's a goofy rule, but you know what? It makes the game go better. I like it.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
I've seen some Candyland games go on forever.
They can.
Like everybody playing just has horrible luck.
Yeah.
Keeps getting sent back, and it's like, this is Candyland. This isn't like, why is this taking so long?
Yeah, you would think that'd be like a 4-minute game, but it's not. No, not at all.
No, it can drag out.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, did you ever have that Ninja Turtles game?
She says it's the King's Foot, by the way. And no, I didn't. I actually saw Cinemassacre on their board, James. They did an episode with it.
Oh, they did? Oh, okay.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, it was just, we got super excited about it. We asked for it for Christmas, and we got it. And, you know, it's a board game, but it's just like, you know, we were like 8 and 10 years old, so like it's like needlessly complicated for that level. It had like a cool battle system in it. Like when you encountered one of the enemies, like you set up like this weird little like teeter-totter thing, and like you rolled the dice, and it told you how the battle went. And so it's a little more advanced, but more advanced than you would like Ninja Turtles to be.
Well, that's fair. I mean, Ninja Turtles shouldn't be that advanced, I guess, but I don't know.
And it's like, whoever wins was the person that could save April first.
Huh.
But there were all these weird conditions for doing it. It's like, you could only save her if like so many of the manhole covers were uncovered, and so many enemies were in this region of the board, and like, I'm like, are we playing Ninja Turtles or Dungeon or something? You know?
Yeah. You know what?
That's a bad example, but I really like Dungeon. Dungeon is super fun.
Person hole cover. I'm just going to say that out loud and we'll move on. All right. So one of my favorites was, of course, Monopoly, and I really liked Battleship. But have you ever played 13 Dead End Drive?
Yes, I have.
I really liked that. That was like a more animated version of Clue.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I miss it. Oh, Megan says personal covers. All right, that's relevant to you. And she said it was the King's Foot earlier. All right, now, 13 Dead End Drive, for those of you who don't know, it's kind of like a stand-up version of Clue-ish. Things would fall, you'd set up traps, and it's in a spooky mansion. It's really cool.
The only downside to that game was that I remember it, like, taking a little while to set up.
Mm-hmm.
If you took everything apart to put it away, like,
yeah,
you're like, let's play some 13 Dead End Drive, and you unpack it, and it's like, oh, how do we put all this stuff together again?
I feel that way about, I've got the Simpsons Game of Life, and I've got Risk, and I feel that way about both of those. I'm like, it's a lot of effort. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
like, by the time you're done, it's like, let's just put this on the shelf. Maybe we'll play it next time.
They're making like a lot of really cool versions of Monopoly now. We bought SpongeBob for my daughter for her birthday, and I love SpongeBob. I'm like a SpongeBob nut. I will literally binge watch SpongeBob, but it's, you know, you're like, oh, this is cool and it's relevant to stuff I like, and then you just realize it's Monopoly, except you no longer understand the money system, so you have to relearn it.
Yeah.
You know, they have Ghostbusters and Batman and Ninja Turtles, and it's like, those look great, but nah. Stick with the original. It's fine.
Yep. I think Monopoly, there's an edition for pretty much every property in existence.
Do you remember I got like the Millennium Monopoly City or something? I don't know, like it has standing buildings and banking and things, and you had come over here, and I was like, let's play this, because I've never even opened it. I opened it, and we didn't even play it because we didn't want to set it up.
Yeah, that looked, it's like, did you want to play a board game or build a model?
Right, like do you want to yeah, that's it. Do you want to play Legos, or which would be more fun, or play a board game? It's trying to mix both. He said Darkfall says he saw a Fallout version. Yeah, I saw that. And Megan says Legend of Zelda Monopoly. I saw that. I almost bought that for her for Christmas, and then I thought she doesn't like Monopoly anyway. So
try to think of a property that does not have a Monopoly board.
That's it. There's a Monopoly on Monopolies. Huh? I don't know. That's going to make my head hurt. Monopoly has a monopoly on everything. All right, that's good enough. All right, well let's kill it there. That way we'll actually have stuff for a board game episode.
Absolutely, we'll do a board game episode sometime.
All right, this one comes from You Died of Dissin. I assume like dissing Terry. Dysentery, fun, right? If you could go back in time and snatch one toy you owned as a kid that you remember so fondly, what would it be? Ghostbusters Firehouse. Mine, undoubtedly. I remember getting that box and being like, oh my God, this is why I'm alive right here. This is what it all has come to.
I think you took mine. Yeah.
We agree. And then the Ecto-1 and the figures, it's like those Ghostbuster toys, dude. Remember getting the first Proton pack and then the Trap, like those were legit toys, like for real cool toys.
Okay, so let's set that aside. Because the correct answer is pretty much anything Ghostbusters that we had.
That's it. Yes,
that's the correct answer. Let's think about like what's something kind of weird like that you've never seen again.
Huh. That's going to be a tougher one.
One thing I was saying, and mine's not really even a toy, really, but I made it into a toy because toy manufacturers were stupid and never cashed in on making video toys. But I remember going to the gas station as a kid. Shout out to everybody that's ever been to Cowboys in Damascus and played Final Fight there. Good time. They had Legend of Zelda candy dispensers. And it was like a little plastic Link, like a little just Link standing there with his sword and his shield, but it looked like, you know how Link looks in the NES like instruction manual?
Yeah,
it's like a little short fat kid kind of. It was like that. It was like this little like Link, and
that's weird. I like it though. That's cool.
Like you pulled the bottom off of him, and he had like little chiclet gums in him.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I snatched it up because it's like, oh, it's Link. I want the Link. You know?
Yeah.
Eat all the candy, and then I remember playing with that thing. I mean, it's a stupid like candy dispenser. It wasn't even like posable. It was more like a little like Link statue than anything. But they never made video game toys back then.
Right,
so, like,
that's true.
You played with that. I remember the same thing with like years later. I got a Sonic the Hedgehog candy dispenser.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the same, like you pulled his spines off of the back of his head, and he was like full of some kind of gum or something.
Yeah.
But I remember like messing around with that forever. Because it's like, you know, they don't make video game toys.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Nowadays, you know, you can get an action figure of any video game character you like.
You really can. You can get one of yourself made this day and age. So
yeah,
yeah. There's
so,
no
you know,
needing
that weird little like Link Legend of Zelda candy dispenser thing. I think might be mine.
I got a Batman. It was a Tim Burton Batman. It was right after the movie came out, and like Kmart was stocked with them. It was just a little black. Well, it's a normal size for then. Black Batman, and it didn't really do anything. I think it had what was it? His belt had the string to it, so you know he could. Yeah,
you could do the grappling hook thing.
Yeah, and I played with that probably more than anything. I mean, like the Bat logo was rubbed off his chest, and you know one of his bat ears or whatever was probably filed way down, but I just absolutely freaking loved it.
You know that you had to grab that one because do you remember how frustrating it was to just get like a plain black Batman? It's like after that they did like, okay, here's purple scuba diving Batman.
Yeah, I do.
Here's like here's golden Batman.
I don't ever get that stuff.
Like I don't want a gold. I just want Batman, just like regular Batman.
Yep. I remember I ended up getting like the Batmobile for it, and of course that was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I got a few accessories for it over time, but nothing ever. I don't think replaced that until like the PlayStation 1. I loved that toy. I freaking loved it. Darkfall says his Incredible Hulk toy box. That's awesome. And he has the succubus from Castlevania.
Ooh.
That's awesome. Really cool, man.
We talked about Castlevania some this month too.
Yes, it's a great month for Castlevania. It's always a great time for Castlevania. One of the toughest series, not one of the best series when it comes to the second half, but the first half, amazing. Really great set of games. Like 1, 3, and 4 are just astoundingly good. And then you got, like Rondo of Blood is amazing. It's short, though. It's hard and short.
There's Bloodlines. Symphony of the Night is really good.
Yeah. I'm not big into Rondo of Blood, to be honest, but I enjoy it. It's okay. It's a lot better than when they got 3D and things later on. I like the side-scrolling ones better, the platformers and such, but I don't know. Castlevania 64. That is a travesty. That shouldn't exist. They should burn all copies of that. Forget ET. It's playable. Castlevania 64 is just absolute garbage.
That's it. Leave ET alone, everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I can come up with 10 games that I would much rather be playing ET than playing that. Go play Slaughter Sport. Play Slaughter Sport. Can it be played? I'm not sure. I've never gotten past the first battle.
Right. Go play what's that one for the CDI? The Beautiful Plants or whatever it's called.
Oh, what is that?
ET is much more of a game than that.
Yes, it is. Leave ET alone.
Yeah, ET's fine. If you know what you're doing, just read. It's easy to look it up nowadays. Now, back then, it probably was garbage because you're like, I don't know what to do. It doesn't seem there's any rhyme or reason. Now we know.
I think the deal is if you had to have the manual.
Mm-hmm.
I think you know how it was when you get a brand new game, you just throw it in. You're not gonna read the manual.
That's what happened to a lot of our boxes that we wish we still had now. The Nintendo game boxes.
Mm-hmm.
We just threw them in the garbage because they're paper and they're crap, and we just wanted the game. We didn't care.
Yeah.
I remember getting the Ninja Turtles arcade game one day, and I just threw the box, and we threw the game in, and I never saw the box again. I guess his parents threw it away or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Didn't care. Care now. I'd love to have it back now. I have the game, but I don't have the box.
So it got me with when I got my Sega Genesis as a kid, and you start to accumulate games for it, and you see them on your shelf. It's everything's in a nice box, and you look back at your Nintendo, and it's damn it, why did I throw all my boxes away?
That's it. Yeah.
My Genesis shelf looks so much nicer.
Dark Falls asks if anyone knows of a good horror role-playing game. I'm not big into RPG, so Ryan is the guy to field that for you.
What system do you want to play on?
That's a good question.
Doesn't matter. Any of the Castlevanias are great for the Symphony of the Night, what they call the Metroidvania series. They all have pretty prevalent.
I assume he has that. He said he has the succubus from that one in particular, so he probably has that one. Just guessing.
Decap Attack.
That is not RPG, is it?
It is totally an RPG.
Is it really?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. I was I remember that's for Genesis, right?
Yeah, that's
I played that. Yeah.
You're the mummy body.
Mm-hmm.
You can throw your skull head at things.
Oh, he's asking for the PC, by the way.
Oh, anything in the Kane series? You remember Legacy of Kane?
I do. Yeah. Sorry, I was delayed. I'm looking.
There's a subset of those.
I've never played any of them though, so I don't really know much about them. That's like Devil May Cry. I've never played that. There's a lot of games I haven't played that I probably should.
You can do without Devil May Cry.
But Dante from Devil May Cry is in everything, right?
He will be after I get stickers made to put on all the game boxes.
I know.
Featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
That's his plan, folks. So look for that at your local GameStop. He's going to slap them on everything. I'm looking to see if Cult with a K and Call of Cthulhu are apparently pretty good ones. I know nothing of them. Again, it's not that I'm against role-playing games. I think as a kid I didn't have the attention span, and now maybe I just don't have the time. I don't know. I'm kind of more of a mission-based, I'll level up by hitting a box or buying it at the store, from collecting in the level or something kind of guy, I guess. But some horror games are Outlast. That's a really good one. If you've not played it, it's just kind of a try to survive. You've probably heard of it, but it's great. Let's see. Seventh Guest was an older one, and The 11th Hour, that's the sequel.
Pac-Man, if you're afraid of ghosts.
Yeah, if you're afraid of ghosts. Let's see. Friday the 13th game is out, but it's you have to play it online, so that's why I don't play it. Dead by Daylight's another one. It's basically Friday the 13th, except they added Michael Myers as a DLC later, and he's pretty awesome, but it's basically Friday the 13th. Until Dawn for the PS4 is incredible. Last of Us, they're not role-playing games, unfortunately, but they're great horror games. So, if you're just looking for horror, those are a great way to go.
You nailed it, sir.
Darkfall says he was good at the later ones, or he was good, but the later ones were more like Tomb Raider with a vampire. Definitely. Agreed. All right. Did we have any more questions, or did we field them all? I'm not even sure. I got lost on that last question. Oh, no. Yeah, that was it. Okay. So, Ryan, what do people need to know before we leave the show tonight?
No, what do you want to know about?
All right. So, as usual, go to midnightspookhouse.com. You can leave feedback. You can contact us, and we'll post the episodes there, of course. We're going to get more active there. I promise. We really will. So do that. On Twitter, we are at The Spook House. Facebook, The Midnight Spook House. And we're going to do a Halloween-themed show pretty much every night for the whole month. It won't be directly Halloween necessarily every show. It'll be vampires or zombies or what have you. But it's going to be a very horror kind of month, and it's going to be fun. We're going to do some random shows. We're going to play some Halloween music, talk, and we're going to play some old classic horror shows that aired like in the 40s and stuff. They really are awesome. They're like
that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, they're like Hitchcock episodes. If you're into like the Alfred Hitchcock show, amazing little stories, and we'll probably talk over them a little bit. We'll try to let you hear real good though. So that'll be a lot of fun. So just be aware. You can set it up to where when we go live, if you have the app for your Android or your iPhone, it'll alert you instantly. You should come hang out with us, because those won't be for download. Those will just be, we're going to stream it live, and that'll be that. No copies.
One time only.
One time, except we're going to do it a few different times. But yeah, each episode one time only. Yeah, I'm just joking. So come hang out with us when we do that. It's going to be just very casual, not a lot of direction, just a lot of fun, we hope. And that's it. I'm going to fire up some nice outro music and let Ryan begin saying his goodnights and all those things. So go ahead, Ryan.
Guys, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. It was a lot of fun, and I hope to be seeing more of you this Halloween month. Yeah. Or it's not October. It's the month of Halloween.
It is Halloween the 4th now, since it is after midnight.
Yeah, 4th day of Halloween. Enjoy yourself.
Darkfall says he loves his old radio shows. He has most of the Superman ones. That's so awesome. I love the voice quality. I love just the quality in general. Such good stuff back then, man. All right, well, that's going to be us for tonight, so come hang out with us. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.